Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Crystal Barrett's May I Scraplift You. And the talented scrapper that I am lifting today is Debi Pierce. She does have a YouTube channel, but no videos yet. Maybe soon. And this is the layout that I'm going to be lifting. And Debbie gave me some of the mountains, and she already put them together even. And also that little camper. I'm not going to use the camper for today because my nephew wasn't camping. But she also sent me some trees, and I will be using some of them and some of mine too to have a variety. I'm showing the picture frame there because, yeah, I made it and the camera was not on. And I used the We Are Memory Keepers frame maker, and I did put the frame up on the thin foam tape. I inked it in that ground espresso, and then I stamped it with that stamp there from Stampendous. Plus, I used pink, yes, pink, sand and little rocks that I had, and I used alcohol ink on them and made them more of a rusty color like the background there. And I also added some twine and a dark brown and not quite white. I am using Simple Stories Vintage Lakeside. Oh, beautiful, beautiful collection. And I am going to use one of those stencils. I'm going to forget about the other one. And see that branch punch over there, Tim Holtz one? I'm going to forget to use it too. But I had good intentions. I cut around that little thing there on the side, the little scenery piece there, because I wanted to slide my photo over just a little bit, and I didn't want to cover it up, so I cut around it ahead of time. I'm using Stormy Skies, and I did water it down just a little bit so I could use my brush on here. And I'm going to put the blue, but I'm also going to add some of the green there, and that is Bundled Sage. I believe that's what it's called. And for both colors, I'm going to use the brush, and I'm also going to use the packaging technique. And on the top, I'm just going to use one of the brushes, you know, the kind, those blending brush. I'm going to use one of them on the top because I didn't think I needed a couple of the techniques that I'm using at the bottom on the top since it is going to be a sky. No, I take it back. I did not use the bundled sage. When I was looking at that doily there on the left, I thought it looked more like the peeled paint, so I used it instead. This stencil here I got um, maybe Amazon. Anyway, it was called Tree Bark. And I, of course, looking at it, thinking all kinds of other uses that I could use for it, like peel paint and also water waves. And so that's what I'm using it for today is water waves. I am using the Stormy Skies at the top too. After all, it is Stormy Skies, so it's working out pretty good, and it matches the bottom a lot better. Some of the other colors that I have that I could use. But as you can see here, I'm just tucking my photo underneath. And since there's no mixed media or anything right there where the photo's going, I'm just using my ATG to put it on there. And these mountains are so cute. And they have like little stitches on them. And I'm inking them all in pumice stone. Now, I only used 4 mountains here and didn't even think about it, that it was an even number. But then I noticed it and I thought, well, if it bugs me too much, I'll add another mountain or take one away. But it didn't. And I think it's because in the end, between the mountains and they're all pointed and the trees are all pointed, that there is an odd number. So I just went ahead and went with it. If you look up at the photo, Debbie has her mountains in the center. Mine are a little bit off center, but she has trees on both sides, and sort of, kind of, I do. I kind of have them all the way across, almost, but I did leave a gap there. But there are trees on the paper to the left, so I thought, well, they'll just continue up and from the trees on the left, and then go on over and have some on the right-hand side. Debbie's layout is symmetrical, but mine is asymmetrical because of that gorgeous little cluster on the left that's printed on the paper. And y'all probably seen that big tree that I put in there. Debbie sent that one to me also. So I wanted it to come on down and be beside the photo. I was tempted to put it on top, but I had already decorated my frame, so that wasn't going to work after all. I did leave the corner on the right where the twine comes down and just goes around the corner, kind of on the plain side because I thought, well, I know I want to put a cluster there. I hadn't thought ahead about the tree though. I am cutting apart my fishnet here, and that is art by Marlene's Sophisticated. Instead of sophisticated, it is sophisticated. Um, and I did it in the, I cut it out in the, what color? Khaki color. I was tempted to use a black to make it a little bit more dramatic, but then I thought of the picture and what colors were in the picture, and they were more earth tones, so I went ahead and went with the craft. I think I said khaki a while ago. They're pretty close to the same, but it is craft paper. And I didn't want it to look brand new, so I inked it in some of the green here and there. And when I add some more to the layout, I'll do the same with it. And I used my cattail die down here. I kind of wanted it coming up out of the water, but I will be putting a wooden sign from the collection there, and it says wander here. And look, just glancing at the layout, it kind of looks like it's part of the ground coming out, because of the colors and the shape it is. It's not exactly a square or rectangle or anything. I cut out a little frame, one of those slide frames, uh, and I from the 6x8 pad, and I put foam tape behind it. But I didn't really want the edge of the picture frame showing, and then the green, and it looked like a window. I wanted it more like a picture frame or something. I wanted to throw some stuff on top of it to kind of decorate. So I used a piece of scrap that had green, and then I went ahead and stamped it with that Stampin' stamp, the crackle one. I love this little sign I'm putting on here. It looks like it has rivets in it, and it's more of a pewter color, but it says life is better at the lake. And I considered taking a piece of wood grain and making a sign out of it, but instead I wanted to add that color of, well, it's not a complete red, but it's close. It kind of blends in with his red on his shirt and the oranges in the background. And I wanted it to have that color, so I decided just to lay the other sign on top of it and add some mushrooms and greenery and just tuck it right there at the side. What is cool with this collection is there's a whole sheet of mushrooms to fussy cut out. So I was really tickled with that because that means I can put some on every layout. Um, and there was this, I think it was like a 3x4 card or something. It had this dragonfly, maybe it's 2x2, I can't remember. But when I first got the collection, I did quite a bit of fussy cutting and I cut the dragonfly out. So I am using him on the upper right of the picture frame. And let's see, where am I at here? I was looking at this little cluster here on the right, and you can see that water there. There's nothing but water there. Well, I wanted to fill it in, so I'm using some more of that fishnet, and I am going to add some greenery there too. And since I used the fishnet, I started thinking I can use a fish there. I didn't want him just laying in the lake, so I will be tucking him in. Well, I think I put him on foam tape, not really tuck. I'm going to put him on the fish line and then add fern there too. But while I'm doing all that, I want to mention that down there below, you'll find the master link to all the videos that are going up for May I Scraplift You. And even though there is a list, yeah, there is a list of different ones to scrapbook, you can use them or you can go rogue. Well, I started before the list came out. So I started out going rogue. And I will have them filtered in that will be different. Uh, because what else was I going to do with them? I could have saved them for another month, huh? But no, since I was working ahead, I will have them filtered in there. And so there will be some days that mine are different. In fact, since it's May I Scraplift you and everybody's just picking a layout to scrap lift of each person, everybody's will be different scrap lifts. Well, there might be the occasional one that is matchy. But yeah, the whole month is just different people. And like I said, there will be rogue days for me, including this one of my scrappy friend Debbie. So yeah, she's not on the list. I am just scrap lifting her. Um, oh, I am going to put a sign behind the sign. It says that living is easy, and I'm covering most of my cattails, but you can still see them, so I was happy with that. And then I'm going to add a few mushrooms and a little bit of greenery. I'm being so conservative on the greenery, but I was thinking I got plenty of trees in the background, so I've got plenty of green in this layout, so I can afford to be conservative and still satisfy my love of green. I do have the Wonder here up on foam tape, and I added some foam tape to the top of the mushrooms so they would pop up a little farther, kind of give them more of a three-dimensional look for the top part. And oh, I'm going to do the title now. Debbie has hers down there at the bottom, and I thought about it, but then I thought about this stencil. I didn't even have it pulled out earlier, but I thought, well, I could use the Explore and then have this other piece of the foam phrase on top of it. And the Explore, it I'm trying to make it where the top is darker and the bottom's a little lighter and the edges on each end are a little bit lighter. Just kind of like it fades down underneath the trees. And you will see when I put that mountain back in there that I took out and moved, that the tree is behind the mountain, but while I was sitting here and doing the voiceover, I noticed it and I untucked it. And so the tree is on the top. I am throwing some ink on top of the Take a Walk in Nature because I didn't want it so white. And yeah, that's it. That's my layout. And as you can see, that tree, a little bit of it's tucked under. But yeah, that kind of bugged me, so it came out. And that's it. That's my layout. And that is my nephew. And every few months, they like to, different times of the year, like to just go out in nature and sightsee. And so they got like a whole area they go through. And it's close to home. My brother drives a truck, so it's like day trips. So they have a lot of fun doing it and take photos too. So my sister-in-law took this one. And there's my close-up with the Wander here. And yeah, it kind of, at first glance, you don't see the arrow or the Wander here. And like I said, it looks like a piece of landing come out. And you can see those rocks there. The pink ones are kind of orange looking. I forgot to mention that I have some art stones. And they're kind of a tan looking. And so I used slate alcohol ink on them. And there's my title up there and that cute little dragonfly. I mean, it is gorgeous. And that's it. That's my layout. If you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. If you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. If you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those of you who are, thank you so very much. And thank you all for watching today. And thanks to Debbie for letting me scrap lift her. Have a happy scrappy week. Bye.